It is time, my friends. Better late than never here for White Lily Cookies, topping biscuit, gear guide, everything await as the awakened White Lily. Let's go for it here today, my friends. As we go at it here, we're going to break everything down that you need to know about this particular cookie to be successful with the awakened White Lily. Now, if you got a question, if you got a comment along the way, let me know. I love to hear from you as always. Oh yeah, and on top of that, feel free to join us in our amazing community and Discord server. Plus, my friends, thank you as always for your support. All right, so here we go. We got the awakened White Lily cookie here, the Dawnbringer, my friends, and she is definitely the Dawnbringer. So a couple things here as we take a look at our skill, but before we do that, for newer players, White Lily cookie is a bomber cookie, a middle lane cookie, and has the elemental with grass type. This particular cookie has and was an ancient and now has been awakened with the latest and greatest update. Couple things here when it comes to the skill set. We got Freedom's Bloom, a flower bud that sprouted through adversity, bursts open, dealing periodic damage to nearby enemies, and additional damage depending on the number of buffs White Lily cookie has on herself. Enemies affected by the skill will become entangled in vines, unable to move or use skills for a certain time. The Bloom of Freedom deals damage to nearby enemies, increases the grass type damage they take, and applies the seeds debuff. The seeds will sprout after some time, dealing damage to nearby enemies and entangling them in vines. Seed sprouting time will decrease whenever the target receives healing. So very important there, the seed sprouting will decrease whenever the target receives healing. Whenever White Lily cookie uses her skill or when any team member gains a debuff, they will gain the Dawn Lily Restoration buff. Once Dawn Lily Restoration reaches a certain number of stacks, it will dispel all debuffs and heal the targets while granting petals of restoration to certain enemies for the team. At the start of the battle, certain cookies from the team will gain petals of restoration. White Lily cookie cannot be silenced or shackled once per battle. If White Lily cookie is defeated, she will become unable to act, but will be protected by remembrance of yearning for a short while. So lots of things here, my friends. With Blossoms of Adversity here, Blossoms of Adversity's damage is 4 hits over 2 seconds. We got single hit damage at 350% of attack, ignores 40% of damage resist. Extra damage is 70% per 1 buff on self, capped at 700. Ignores 40% of damage resist. So if you have 10 buffs on White Lily, this thing is going to do 700% damage. Crazy. Grass type damage plus 8% for 15 seconds, stacks up to ×3. So very important there as well. You're boosting grass type to 24%. And again, these are grass type damages. Vines, enemies ensnared and unable to use skill for 3 seconds. Effect after Vines duration is over. Target is immune to move speed, minus 80% for 10 seconds. Damage resist plus 30%, stacks up to 1. Damage after Vines duration is over or target is immune. 500% of attack, ignores 40% of damage resist. Freedom's Bloom damage times 10 hits over 2.5 seconds. Single hit damage there. 57% of attack plus damage equal to 27.9% of max HP. Cookies ignores 40% of damage resist. Seeds sprout after 10 seconds and vine applied after sprouting. Seed sprouting time minus 1 second if targets receive healing. Bloom damage targets with seeds. 700% of attack ignores 40% of damage resist. Damage equal to 27.5% of max cookies. Bloom area damage 650% of attack cookies, and then 16.6% of attack others. So again, very big on cookies specific here. Dawn Lily Restoration. Dawn Lily Restoration gain 1 stack per 5 times debuffs on White Lily cookie, or allies times 7 when White Lily cookies uses her skill. Lily Restoration at 15 stacks dispels debuffs on allies and heals them for 122% of attack. So again, we see lots of attack there. Petals of Restoration times 1 stack for 2 ally cookies with the highest attack upon the start of battle and when Dawn Lily Restoration triggers. Petals of Restoration effect when target is incapacitated, removes Petals of Restoration and dispels and possible incapacitating effects on them while granting immunity from such effects for 5 seconds, HP shield, and healing targets for 17.8% of max HP. Provides protection from ×1 incapacitating effect after the duration ends. HP shield at 20% of target's max HP for 10 seconds. Incapacitating effect protection for 15 seconds. Ancient Cookie Ear, passive debuff 30%, damage resist 35%. Remembrance of Yearning, invulnerability for the 2.5 seconds and cooldown -50% when defeated. Heals for 70% of max HP. Damage dampening there at 25% and grass type damage at 25%. Oh, that is a mouthful, my friends. A lot is going on there. So a couple things here when we take a look at that. Let's max level this. All right, we got just enough. You can see what's going to go up there is, once again, it's going to be the damage for grass. Okay, so very important for knowing and making sure that you're aware of that. First thing, okay, so we got lots of power, lots of damage. What does that specifically mean for this cookie? Well, there's really kind of 3 ways to think about it, and we're saying 3 on purpose here, and I'll come to that for a second. The first one is going to be really about the PvE. In the PvE aspect, you're probably going to want to think about building it towards this grass type, okay? Or in the future, if cookies are weakened by grass type specifically, then you'll want to have that as an additional way to think about it. Now, this cookie is dealing lots and lots of damage. It has additional damage against cookies, though. So what does that mean? It means nice for PvP. So pretty important there to keep those things in mind when we think about that one in particular. Okay, so that's the first one. The second one is going to be really a blend between the two. And that is really going to be the focus between this. We have a 15-second cooldown and all the damage that is going into this. It scales, lots of scales off of attack, okay? So percentage off attack. So if you want this cookie to deal lots and lots of damage, you will want to be more focused on that Syrian Raspberry and attack. If you want to focus more on cooldown and potentially survivability, and it's really going to be down to how quickly you can reset this here, then you're going to want to be on the chocolate toppings in order to cast this faster, okay? And those tweaks are going to make a difference. You can also split the two. I know that we don't do that and haven't done it a lot, but you can absolutely do that because we got 6 now with the tart, okay? So very, very important there. If you want to stay alive, though, more, I would be on the cooldown, and that's the focus that we're going to have today. So one thing, when we get into our particular cookie here, we can see that we already have tons and tons of cooldown on our Beascuit. So if we are focused on that, then maybe we'll want to be on the attack on the raspberry. So let's go ahead and take a look at our Beascuit here. Like I said, I got lots of cooldown. We could tweak this thing to be even better, my friends. And if you wanted to, I don't know if I have one yet, I do, you could build your grass type damage one just like this. Very, very nice. As you could see, that would be a great one to put on this cookie in particular. Like I said, as an additional one, let's go ahead, we'll level this up just so you can see that here. All right, let's attune it. Oops, I should have did this first, but there we go. We'll see how our luck is this morning. Uh-oh. There we go. We're in. Okay. And then here, survivability might be nice. Again, this one I would turn into all grass for specific PvE things like alliances or some of the events. So that's a nice one to have. Some survivability in there might be nice as well. Ooh, we meant to equip that. There we go. All right, so we're all set there. And then here we got, like I said, if we go reset, let's reset this one for a little bit better. We're going to go auto reset. We want a higher cooldown. I'll go ahead and keep it that way. The big thing here is, again, that speed. And as you tweak through the speed, making that difference there for you can really, really help. Now, if you want to think about it from where you might be able to apply the biggest percentages, though, ooh, look at that damage resist. I'll actually keep that one there. All right. If you want to think about the biggest percentages, though, if we go and look at these pieces here, we do have attack between 3 and 7.5. And then we have that cooldown between that 2 and 6. So if you want to consider where that blend might be between these right here on the toppings, for instance, that might make a big difference for you. Obviously, you're going to get way more here in the attack from that side. And same thing as we look at the cooldown here. Oop, there we go. Same thing as we look at the cooldown here. You got an additional 3 as that example, but the biggest one's really the boosting on the 6% as well that you could get right there. So I went with cooldown on the Beascuits because pretty good in terms of that 6% versus 1.5%, and then taking more advantage of higher percentages here on the toppings per se. So let's go ahead, we'll reset this one here and make it a little bit better. Let's go auto reset again. We'll keep that there. I do like that damage resist. We're gonna grab that cooldown and we'll see if we can get a little bit higher cooldown. Crit resist, I'm gonna skip that one, even though that is pretty nice. Okay, a little bit better. We're gonna try it again. See if we can get a little bit higher. All right, there we go. And then we'll move into the next thing. So again, ways to think about your particular Beascuits and hold. There we go. That's not bad. So 5%. So again, what I'm doing is I'm tweaking. You can see that 7.5 versus 6. So I'd recommend focusing on this Beascuit here and lifting your cooldown, particularly if you're going to go on the attack on the other side for some of that scaling. So when we go back, that would be 6, 12, 24% that you could add right here. On the other side, if you go to the toppings, you're going to get, like we just showed here, let's go back. If you're going to go here, you're going to get 3% all the way across, which is 15 plus the 6% there. So that is why I'm tweaking on the Beascuit versus here as the example, okay? Now, again, something to think about in terms of how you might be having it. Right here, we already have our other style. As you can see, let's go ahead and grab that one there. So we got a full-blown cooldown right there. There's that 18%, okay? Now, if we got 18 plus the, what do we have here on the Beascuit? We got almost another 15. So 18 plus 15 is 33. So 33% already out of the gates against our 15 seconds. That's going to drop us down at least about 5 seconds from that. So right away, we're going to be sub 10 probably with all the other research that I have. And then again, you can go ahead and take a look at your cookie overall to see where some of these stats are coming in. We got that 5% cooldown plus there because we're on attack. If you flip over, that's going to change it. Okay, so now to the topping. So we gave you the Beascuit idea of where I put my cooldown, why I put my cooldown there versus here. I still want some form of a balanced cookie. If you're on the camp of total cooldown, my friends, you're absolutely going to want to build it this way, okay? Before we do that, though, a couple things here. You can't forget, of course, you can't. Go to your storage and make sure that you are using those resonant toppings, just like this. Right here, you can see we can use them for White Lily. Absolutely go ahead and grab these. I'm not going to go through right now because I have them set, save you a little bit of time because we spent a lot of time on the Beascuits, okay? So definitely do this. Actually, we'll just claim, we'll do it. There we go. We'll claim 5 because I want to attack on this. We're going to go to White Lily, and then I am going to go to our toppings here. We're going to go toppings. Yes. And we'll grab all 5. Multiple upgrade. Oop. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, when you do this, which is why I grabbed these, you're going to have a much higher tweaking on the stats. Let's go ahead. We'll equip all these. And you can mix and match. So don't forget that as well. Where's my other one? Uh-oh. There it is. Oh, I forgot to upgrade this one. Oh, we didn't mean to do that. 15. There we go. We're behind. All right, there we go. Ooh, 2, 3 good ones right there. All right, so when we add this, there we go. We're all set there. So make sure if you go raspberry again, you find something that's going to deal lots and lots of damage. We're going to grab which one here. Let's go ahead and grab Mon Juice for now. A little bit better. All right, so when we use the resonant toppings, we will have more dialed in substat here, as you can see in these bonus effects. Again, this one's great because we got attack and that cooldown all pushed up. Makes a big difference and focused on these 6. Where I would go after for those bonus effects is attack, is damage resist, and is cooldown. If you can get all three of those every time, it's going to make a huge difference. If you are on attack, getting cooldown in all these is going to be a huge difference once again. And we had really healthy cooldown, as you can see, with 7.3% in those substats. So combining those two is going to be very important. Or again, you can go all the way over here and heavily focus on that cooldown and go to 18. Here we're at 7, so we're not doing too bad. We're only losing 10, which is 1.5 seconds, which could make a big difference. However, being a little bit more attack forward can certainly deal more damage and give you some more of that healing from that perspective. All right, and on top of that, if you are playing PvP and you want to, last but not least, throw in some damage resist bypass, even though we're already getting 40, this is going to be the spot to do it. All right, so that is our fully tweaked White Lily Awakened cookie, the Dawnbringer here for us today. Let's go for the run here so you can see exactly how this is going to roll, because that is what we do. Time to flip back over to Crispia here and move all the way back. There we go to our Hall of Enlightenment. 829. If you have seen our friend right here already, the Salt Cellar Cookie, we've got a great guide for you, of course, here on the channel. All right. Now, the other thing with White Lily, you are going to get this as well. Grass type damage plus 20% for 15 seconds. When a grass type cookie uses their skill, damage resist plus 15. Stacks up ×2. All right. Now, when we go to edit here, though, we got to go to our gear. Let's flip over. Very nice. And time for us to take on the run. Here we go. Huge damage. So look at that, 8-second cooldown we're on. Very big there. Now, in this particular cookie, if we move over, by the way, to the cooldown, we should be at about 6. Nice. Look at that. So much fun here today. We are, White Lily, one step closer. And that is everything that you need to know for our episode and guide here, all about the brand new, it is, White Lily Cookie, Ancient Dawnbringer, breaking down everything that you need to know about the Beascuits, the toppings to be successful, plus the tarts and all the gear. If you still got a question, you got a comment, certainly let me know. I'd love to hear from you. As always, we'd love to see you in our amazing community and Discord server. And on top of that, thank you. Thank you for tuning in here today. I truly appreciate your support. There are many ways to do that here on the channel. So thank you. I appreciate the likes and the subs as well. And with that, my friends, until next time, get out there, enjoy your White Lily cookie, and we'll see you again soon. And until then, keep on running.